Coming up on this edition of Cogeco News, coronavirus numbers continue to rise with the importance of social distancing magnified. The homeless shelter moving across town, and check out that ice. Welcome inside the Your TV studio for this Tuesday edition of Cogeco News. Truly local, my name is Clark Heipel. Over 40 more coronavirus deaths and close to 500 new cases in the province announced on Tuesday. This as a 14th case of the virus has been confirmed in our district. A woman in her 50s contracted the virus in the community and is currently self-isolating. Meanwhile, Premier Doug Ford has extended the declaration of emergency for another 4 weeks. Nipissing MPP Vic Fidelli joins us via Skype to discuss the unfortunate statistics.
Very tragic what we're seeing, but we are continuing to, as they call it, flatten the curve here in Ontario. The Premier said there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, but we certainly can't get ahead of ourselves on this. We're not prepared yet to reopen any parts of the economy. We need people to follow the essential business list. If you're not on the list, please refrain from opening or trying to be, I call it too cute by half, by looking for loopholes. Stay home, follow the guidelines, and stay safe. That's what we really need people to do. We said it a week or so ago. The worst case scenario is we could see 80,000 people sick and 1,600 people, God forbid, lose their lives. So practice your safety.
The good news out of all this is the resiliency of Ontario businesses, and you're spearheading Ontario Together, and North Bay has really been part of that push.
It's so exciting to see companies right across Ontario get involved in the Ontario Together. You as an individual can volunteer on it. You can volunteer to deliver groceries. You can do all kinds of things on it, but companies can also go on it. And so we've seen companies in our region get involved. Julie Gom and her gang down at the original Bug Shirt Company in Powassan, they're making masks. These are not a surgical mask. These are masks that people can wear. Canadore College and the iCamp, they've been producing the 3D printing of the face shields. There's a company, Bella Vita, Alexander Neck, he said he and his 3 daughters are making up to 1,000 face shields. We talked about the fact that Ford is making several 100,000 of them, but he said, let us little guys do this work until the big guys are up in full production. Levine Canvas, I know you had a segment that you covered them, making masks here in North Bay. North Bay Plastic Molders down the street from me in Corbeil, they're making components. The New Ontario Brewery Company, they're making hand sanitizer. Nor Environmental International is offering a decontamination of PPE, and they got their just got an email from them a short while ago. They got their federal certification to do that. Express Parcel in North Bay is delivering free donated PPE. So we've really seen the spirit of Ontario come through here in the riding of Nipissing as well, and we're just absolutely thrilled at all of these companies for getting involved.
Well, just 2 short weeks ago, North Bay's YMCA on Chippewa was named the new temporary homeless shelter as social service reps cited its size for increased capacity. Now, the shelter is moving once more to Pete Pelangio Arena for a need for increased capacity. The homelessness issue in North Bay is growing under the economic pressure of the coronavirus pandemic.
Was moved to double ranks was for capacity. So they were running into situations where they were at capacity and had to turn people away, which is not the right thing to do. So staff started to look at different options for a different location so that we'd be able to accommodate others. The other second challenge we had at the Y was if somebody tested positive for COVID, there was no way to isolate them. So we need to find an area where we'd be able to isolate those without homes so that they had a place to stay segregated from everyone else.
And what about the complaints of vandalism as well as the congregation of people in groups despite the pleas for physical distancing?
We were hearing some concerns for sure of people mingling or looking in cars and that sort of thing. But that wasn't the reason it was moved to double ranks. It was moved specifically for the capacity issue. The graffiti, by the way, what I've been told from the YMCA was there previous to that. So it wasn't like somebody went and sprayed the YMCA for the homeless shelter. So that was kind of one of those rumors in North Bay that got going around, but it was there before.
And what assurances can you give the homeowners and residents on Wallace Road across from Pete Pelangio that that won't happen at that location?
So it's a challenge, Clark, I'll be honest. The public wants us to look after our vulnerable, and so we should. We should provide shelter for them and meals, and we're doing everything we can. And if it doesn't matter where it goes, there'll always be those that will complain, and that's what, that's what's great about our country is everybody can have an opinion. Having said that, I did speak with the police chief, and they will patrol the area like they were for the YMCA.
Mark King is the chair of DSAB, which is overseeing the homeless shelter. He discusses the budget pressure.
It's $170,000 a month. We were in receipt of money both from the federal government and the provincial government to the tune of about $800,000. So. Allocation has gone towards that, the establishment of the double rinks facility. At the same time, we've been working with all the regional partners, asking for their input through a survey process that happened last week, particularly the food banks. Once that's all been tabulated, then money will flow before the end of the week. Back to these facilities that are struggling financially.
And that new location expected to open on Thursday. Today we meet a coronavirus survivor. Burlington, Ontario resident Charlene Dobson was diagnosed with COVID-19 after experiencing symptoms shortly after March break. We go now to the Skype interview from our Your TV Halton affiliate.
My first symptoms appeared just shortly after March break. Was really unusual. My nose was really burning. I had a severe headache I couldn't get rid of for a few days. Severe fatigue. I didn't really chalk it up to COVID for the fact that we're all told that it's just fever and a cough to watch out for. I also have lupus, so I wasn't sure if that was just another symptom that was coming on due to the lupus, so I wasn't really sure. The second day, really sore throat, started to have a little bit of a cough, nothing great, but it was just the fatigue, the headache, and then I lost my sense of smell rather.
So then you did find out that you were confirmed positive with COVID-19, and your initial symptoms weren't necessarily typical. Did it carry on like that throughout the sickness, and how long did it last?
The biggest symptom that I had, the headache lasted the whole time.
Wow.
Severe fatigue, like even getting up to go to the washroom was a chore, really lightheaded. Sore throat. I did develop a cough, which was manageable as long as I didn't take huge gulps of breath. It was a lot of shallow breathing because it really hurt. But then you need to cough because you have to cough this virus out, basically. Just really weird symptoms. Like again, I'm watching the news, or anytime I was awake, I would go online and watch the news, and they're like, oh, it's this fever. I only had a fever for 2 days, low-grade fever, and it was like 101. So just enough to be kind of uncomfortable. But other than that, it was just the fatigue, the weakness, the nose. It was crazy. My nose was so sore. It was just like on fire, and the headache.
So you've been better for just over a week now, and
yes.
How are you finding the recovery and people's reaction when you tell them that you have recovered from COVID-19?
Yeah, that's the big part. The recovery part has been good. I'm still really tired, but it's probably just from being in bed for so long too. So it's just about the getting up and going, and I'm a pretty active person, and just to be contained, you know, at home, and I'm in the same boat as everybody else now. You know, we have to stay at home. Our activities are curtailed, so I don't know if it's just from that, but I would have to say now I feel like 100%.
And thanks to Halton News, Jessica Kading, anchor for Halton News, for that interview. Other news on this day. Minor injuries were reported following a two-vehicle crash at the intersection of Lakeshore and Charles, this happening during the noon hour on this Tuesday. As you can see here, plenty of emergency crews on scene as fire, ambulance, and police all responded to the scene just after 12 o'clock. Traffic flow was halted on Lakeshore as police redirected traffic onto Whitney and Lee streets. No word if any charges will be laid as a result of this crash. Armed Forces Day 2020 is the latest coronavirus-caused cancellation. The city announced through a media release that the daytime and evening events slated for June the 10th have been canceled due to the ongoing efforts to physically distance, and that is the latest cancellation due to the virus. Well, you can still wear a red shirt on June the 10th to celebrate our armed forces. We have reached break time here on this Tuesday edition of Cogeco News. Do stay tuned. Much more local news, weather, and sports right after this. Welcome back to Cogeco News. Quarantune was singing a very successful song this weekend. The fundraiser was the brainchild of local radio personality Brian Floyd. His idea raised almost $5,000 for the North Bay Food Bank.
We hoped it would be successful. I think the goal was to just entertain, to bring together some of the wealth of talent that we have here in the North. We have so many great comedians, so many fantastic musicians, and I thought, it would be really fun to have a weekend. We've been so disconnected. Why not have something to bring us closer together? And it far exceeded any of my expectations. I believe money is still coming in. There was a couple people who reached out to me online who said, they'd love to cut a check to the North Bay Food Bank. And I think that, that mindset is there. I think it got, more importantly, it got awareness out there that, the food banks, not just in North Bay, but right across the country, are in need of our help at this time. Everyone's feeling the pressure and to donate to those food banks.
Was it hard to coordinate bands playing at different locations during the weekend?
That was the question I've gotten more than anything is, how difficult was it to curate a schedule or a lineup for this? And it was actually pretty. It was pretty simple. We just have such great people. Like the music community in North Bay is so fantastic. Everyone was so accommodating. I wanted to make sure that we got everyone at a time that would work for them. Some artists were like, oh, I'd have to play after the kids go to sleep. So we made sure to accommodate everyone, and it really all just came together.
And you may be able to count on Floyd to host a fundraiser like this again.
And, you know, we might be in this for a while, so why not do it again? I think most of the artists, most of the musicians and comedians that I spoke to would be interested in doing it again. And some of them are even doing weekly concerts now because of it. So I think it's a great thing. And you know, it's anything like this that can bring us closer together is fantastic.
Great job, Brian, and more music-related news at the end of the newscast. Stay tuned for that. You now can explore calendar history from the comfort and safety of your own home. The Calendar Bay Heritage Museum is now offering virtual tours free of charge.
Back in the summer, and Ian Bradshaw from looksliketours.ca, he came with his 360-degree camera and filmed the entire museum. And he put a video, or not a video, but he put the tour together. And now, basically almost like a Google Street View, you can virtually walk through each of the rooms in the museum, upstairs and the main floor and the art gallery, and enjoy our exhibits right from the comfort of your home and computer.
Is there a view counter, a page visit number counter, so you can kind of tell how the community is taking advantage of this?
Yeah, since March 29th is when we kind of officially released it, and we've had over 2,000 visits, which is pretty amazing. It's fantastic that that many people have had a chance to check it out. We've had a lot of comments from people just they didn't realize how big it was inside and how much stuff that we have. And as you know, from the outside, we look like a small little building, but once you get in there, you see how much we really do have, and so it's kind of a cool little preview for that.
And the Dion Quintuplets continues to be a major draw for international virtual guests.
Absolutely, yeah. We've actually got quite a few of our members of our museum are from the United States, and they don't come up every single year, but now they also have a chance to enjoy our museum that they support from their own home as well. And yeah, you can check out the quintuplet exhibit. We've got a couple of videos incorporated as well into some of the exhibits, including the quintuplet one where you can watch some of the old newsreels that are available on YouTube, and it just kind of brings more life to the story by seeing actual footage.
And like many museums, there's hidden gems. What comes to mind when guests, whether in person or virtual, they can be surprised by certain things they discover?
I think one of the biggest things is one of the first things you'll see when you go into the museum is the barber shop from the 1920s. I mean, it's very unique and it's completely authentic. And I personally am still every time I walk through it, it surprises me just how cool it is. And so I think it's pretty neat that that's one of the first things you'd see on the tour. It really shows the uniqueness of our museum and the broad range of topics that we explore.
And how are people able to connect with this tour?
Probably the easiest way is to go to our website, which is mycalendar.ca/museum. Right on the first page there, we've got a blurb that talks about how we're closed right now, but you can click on a link to view our virtual tour. If you're on Facebook, you can go to our Facebook page at Calendar Museum, and it's one of the pinned posts at the top of the page. Yeah, that's probably the easiest way to get to the tour.
Time to check out our coronavirus information board, important contact information before we head to break. Canada.ca/COVID-19, your federal resource. Ontario.ca/coronavirus provincial. Telehealth Ontario 1-866-797-0000, and your local resource, including us here at Your TV, is myhealthunit.ca. Well, you likely have noticed the ice buildup on shore. If you are tuned to our social media channels, we take a look at the impressive sights following the big wind that we had on Monday night. Greg Estabrooks has your weather forecast right after this.
Weather is brought to you by Canadore College. Great things happen here.
Welcome back for the weather, everybody. Greg Esterbrooks here at historic North Bay's Government Dock. They promised a big win on Monday. The big wind came. They promised that the ice on Lake Nipissing would get pushed up against the shore, and it has. In spectacular fashion, the ice is all along the waterfront, all along Government Dock. There's been a constant stream of people to come check things out here, and I'm sure they've been checking out spots all over the waterfront. People taking pictures of the spectacular ice formations on a very windy Monday, which came into a slightly less windy Tuesday. Also some fairly interesting ice formations along the shoreline of Lake Nipissing in the Sunset Park locale as well. Now let's get to the forecast, brought to you by Canadore College and Environment Canada. Overnight tonight, partly cloudy, pretty good chance of a flurry. Wind southwest at 20 becoming light, low of -8, wind chill -11 overnight. Moving on to Wednesday, a mix of sun and cloud, small chance of a flurry, wind slight, high of 2 above, wind chill though -11 in the morning. Overnight on Wednesday, cloudy periods and -10. What's going on here? Thursday, April 16th, a mix of sun and cloud, a high of just 2 above, cloudy overnight and a low of -7. For Friday, a mix of sun and cloud, high of 2 above, cloudy overnight Friday and a low of -3. Saturday, a mix of sun and cloud, 7 above. Clouds, pretty good chance of a shower, low of 1 above. The normals for this time of April are 9 above and -1. Good luck with that. And on Monday, well, we were pretty close to the norms. The high was 9, the low -2. That is it for the weather. Mr. Clark Heipel will have the sportscast right after this, and also a special, well, let's say song to try to cope with COVID-19. All of that right after this.
Sports is brought to you by Tag Construction for all your construction needs.
Welcome back to Cogeco News. Time now for your local sports. More winners to announce from the North Bay Sports Hall of Fame. Rick Mitchell is this year's winner of the Judge Henry J. Reynolds Memorial Trophy for his dedication to the sport of hockey. Mitchell played his minor hockey in the West Ferris system and played high school hockey for the West Ferris Trojans. And Rick began coaching hockey at West Ferris High School in '92. In 27 years, his team captured 5 NDA titles and reached the NDA Finals 7 times. He has captured 3 NASA championships and reached the finals on 6 occasions. And that '95 team reached the quarterfinals at OFSA. Congratulations. Now, a feel-good story to end the newscast. Local author and motivational speaker Suzanne Harmony has her own way to take the edge off the coronavirus blues. Harmony has a little song she wants to all to sing every Wednesday at 4 p.m.
My message is help Harmony honor humans at home on Hump Day. And I'm a fan of writing an onomatopoeia with all the H's and help Harmony honor humans at home on Hump Day. And I thought, what a great way to do that, because at this very trying time with this lovely pandemic, I figured it's time to really honor the humans at home and not putting any labels on people, but we're all human. We're all having this very human experience, which kind of degrades people in a way, in that we're not able to hug anymore and we're not able to hold people close. And some of us are just so isolated. And so I just figured, what a great day to honor them with perhaps a song. And what came to me was the other day, it was my grandson's 5th birthday. And we weren't able to be with him either. And washing our hands to the tune of Happy Birthday gives us the allotted time, they say, to get the germs off. And I thought, what a great way to honor humans at home on Hump Day by singing a little song. So, happy Hump Day to you, happy Hump Day to you, happy Hump Day, humans at home, happy Hump Day to you. And, you know, you could have a toast to whatever beverage brings you pleasure. This is water for me because I can't get enough water into me, it seems. And warm up your water, put some lemon in it, and enjoy. So happy Hump Day.
And perhaps tomorrow, a video of Greg singing it. We'll have to wait and see if he's game for that. I think he will be. We have reached the conclusion of this Tuesday edition of Cogeco News. We will see you on Hump Day, which is Wednesday, for more local news, weather, and sports. We'll see you live at 5.